And if you think for 1 second that a lawyer is on your side just because they're a lawyer, you're a complete fucking fool. Completely fucking foolish. A lawyer is going to get paid to do what they get paid to do. A lawyer is only going to do what they get paid to do, rather. It doesn't matter about what's fair and what's right and what's this and what's that. If this person's paying me the most, I'm going to work in their best interest. If this person's paying me to work in their best interest, I'm going to work in it. You don't share lawyers. Sharing lawyers is like sharing draws. You shouldn't fucking do that.
In a world of glitz and glam, flashing lights and screaming fans, most people are unaware of the war that rages behind the scenes. And that war includes your favorite artist and your favorite songs. This is The Dark Side of Songwriting. Hosted by Nayim Edwards.
Welcome to The Dark Side of Songwriting. My name is Nayim Edwards. I am your host, and today I've got notes because we've got to talk about TLC, and they are the perfect example of everything that's wrong with the business, everything that you shouldn't do, and why, even though, we care about our art and shit, bro, there's so much other shit we have to worry about after we step away from the microphone. So, TLC, we all know TLC, one of the biggest, most impactful groups, not just in R&B, but in black music, and music in general, really, when we talk about girl groups, T-Boz, Chili, Tion, everything was wrong. I'm just astounded about how much shit can go wrong. So in my mind, I'm thinking because I didn't look and see how old it was when they first got started, but they came in this hole as teenagers. We all know they're the quintessential example of a terrible fucking record deal. Niggas had Grammys in their hand and shit talking about I'm broke or we broke and we did XYZ. Before we talk about the facts and the figures, let me tell you how their record contract was set up. And this is how all record contracts that are like those kind of contracts are set up. So when you sign a deal, you're basically signed to a band. You're not signed to, oh my God, we're partners or whatever. That's bullshit. Most of these motherfuckers be lying about that shit anyway. You're going to pay for everything. You're going to pay for your flights. You're going to pay for your hotel. You're going to pay for your food. You're going to pay for anything you got to travel. You're going to pay for equipment to travel. You're going to pay for everything, and you're going to pay the taxes. You're going to pay for it all. The label is just basically saying, hey, we're Big Brother. We're going to take our cut, and we're going to leave you the motherfucking scraps. They were talking about how after they made their first album and shit, so they come in as teenagers, they're making all this music, they catching, they going crazy. And let me just interject this. They were signed to Arista and LaFace. And we think because we signed with black people, and if you don't know what LaFace is, that's L.A. Reid and Babyface record label, which I'm assuming is that came through Arista. That's how they got the deal in the first place. I mean, LaFace is huge because people think that, I can trust Babyface, I can trust L.A. Reid, I can trust all these people. No, my nigga, you can't trust nobody. There's nobody to be motherfucking trusted in this business, point blank, period. There's blame that's got to be placed on them because they were whining and complaining about their contract. But let me give you the facts and the figures first, and then we'll talk about the contract and the manager and all that sweet shit. So they said they sold 10 million records. Motherfuckers got Grammys in hand. 10 million records, right? They was only getting 18 cents or 18 points a piece for the record. And if you don't know what a point is a percentage. So for every dollar that came in, they was only as a group making 56 cents per. So if it's 56 cents, they weren't getting 18. They was getting 56 cents per dollar, which means that they probably was getting somewhere of like 7 to 8 points per album or some shit, right? So as a group, by the way, 56 cents per dollar. And remember, albums used to cost $20 fucking a piece, $25 a piece if you was, whatever. So for every $20, the group was only making 56 cents, and they had to bust that 56 cent down 3 ways, which came out to be like 18.6 cents. So we'll just say 18 cents a piece, right? If the album made $200 million total, so one album made, if you sold $10 million, that's $200 million, but we'll get to that in a second. 10 million records, $5.6 million if it's 56 cents per album. You're going to have to pay all those costs back. The cost to record, the cost for those people's time, the cost for the rentals, the cost for the instruments, the cost to get the motherfuckers there, traveling to this studio, the studio fee, all that. The label told them that was $3 million to record that. So they had to pay all that back out of their $5.6 million. The money that the label done ran off in the sunset with, they already got that. They got $2.6 million left. When you make that much money, taxes eat all your motherfucking money up. If you got a regular job and you make a certain amount of money, taxes gobble your shit up. Half your money going to taxes. So now you left with $1.3 million. Bust that down between 3 people, and then you're going to have to be taxed again for your individual cut. 300 racks a person. So out of $200 million that they had generated from their album, $300,000 of that was to be dispersed to them. And one of them was like, I could buy a nice house with that, but what I'm going to pay my bills with? You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, they came into the game trusting motherfuckers, and this is the problem. They came into this bitch trusting. They trusted L.A. Reid and Babyface that they was going to get a fair deal, but they was already saying from the jump that it wasn't a fair deal. Bitches ain't getting along. Bitches fighting amongst each other. They like broke up a little. They like slick broke up. They ain't really break up, but they slick broke up because Left Eye was, I'm the best one in the group. Who ain't nobody come to see you, Otis. That fucking attitude. And this is why it is best to not get into no group with nobody, because for what? All it is a bunch of different fucking opinions, a bunch of different fucking decisions, and your life is going to be held up if one person goes against whatever the fuck is going on with the group. So, aside from, their financial issues came from obviously having a fucked up contract because they trusted a manager, they trusted the label, which was dumb as a bitch, but they don't know no motherfucking better. They probably fresh from the projects or wherever the fuck they from, fresh from a situation that they don't know shit about the music business at all. Tion has sickle cell. That burnt her money up because being sick, everybody knows that medical expenses is like the number one thing, and it's been the number one thing for a minute. The medical expenses ate up her money. Left Eye was nigga crazy. She decided to burn the motherfucking house down, so you got to pay for that. You got to pay the insurance for burning a nigga house down. And they said Chili was pregnant, so whatever the fuck Chili was doing, maybe she was being smart, but they allowed this manager, and it's crazy. I feel like I don't want to use the word allowed because that would imply that they was knowing, but ignorance is not an excuse. Not on this channel, it's not. They trusted a label, and nobody had the sense that God gave a caterpillar to maybe take the contract to a lawyer. And if you haven't seen my lawyer episode, you need to go see that because it tells you how to pick a lawyer when you are first starting your music career. Go to it. They didn't have a lawyer go over the contract, so they wasn't going to get no fair deal, no way. They didn't. They believed, they had faith into L.A. Reid and Babyface, which is dumb because all your skin folk ain't your kin folk. They trusted their manager, and their manager ran off into the sunset with their shit. The manager owned the music. The manager owned the name and the likeness. The manager was busting them checks down with her and whoever the fuck she wanted to be bothered with. And not only that, they said the manager was paying them $25 a piece a week or a day. I don't know what it was. It probably was a week. Knowing how gutter snipish these motherfuckers is, bro. Like, listen to what I'm saying. Like, all this shit, completely just a wicked situation. And not only that, the manager was assigning them lawyers that was her lawyers. And if you think for 1 second that a lawyer is on your side just because they're a lawyer, you're a complete fucking fool. Completely fucking foolish. A lawyer is going to get paid to do what they get paid to do. A lawyer is only going to do what they get paid to do, rather. It doesn't matter about what's fair and what's right and what's this and what's that. If this person's paying me the most, I'm going to work in their best interest. If this person's paying me to work in their best interest, I'm going to work in it. You don't share lawyers. Sharing lawyers is like sharing draws. You shouldn't fucking do that. It's weird, and it's just not something that should be done. Point blank, period. Because they're not looking out for you. They're looking out for whoever the corporate entity is. That's where their loyalty lies, with whoever can pay the most. She probably, Pebbles or whatever the fuck her name was, probably paid the lawyer to make sure that Pebbles gets the best deal or whatever. So you got the label working against you. You don't know shit about the music business. You don't know shit about the record business. You don't know shit about managing or being nothing but just getting on the mic and singing and chasing waterfalls and Jason waterfalls and So I Creep and Silly Hoes and all that cute fun shit, but you're miserable. You get a RAV, you driving a RAV4 with your Grammy in the passenger seat. You got a trunk full of awards, but you eating ramen noodles because you don't know what the fuck, how the fuck you gonna even make it to your next meal. Aside from all of that, I mean, they broke up, filed bankruptcy, all this shit. Left Eye ended up dying when she signed her solo deal, so the album never came. They got back together. It was just all type of shit. And pay attention to what I said. None of that shit had to do with nothing aside from the fact that their art, their music, all that shit was making money. And they never saw none of that money. Now they can come out and talk to you about it. Now they can come out and tell you surviving L.A. Reid, surviving Babyface, surviving these folks. But they did everything wrong. And this is actually one of those ones where everybody should be required to study their career if you want to have a music career, because it can easily happen to you. You're not as hot as you can be as hot as you want to be, but that don't equate to what's going to be right and what's going to be fair and what's going to work to your advantage. They were completely taken advantage of, so much so that they've had to file bankruptcy 2 times because they couldn't pay their bills, and they going up to the label, taking the plaques off the wall, threatening. See, everybody was running down on niggas in the 90s. So you running down on the motherfuckers in the office, and then L.A. Reid and Babyface like, well, anybody who want to side them is going to be a burden because you're going to be responsible for all of this debt or shit. So Babyface and L.A. Reid completely blackballed them from even being able to get another deal. And this is what I'm saying. Motherfuckers play puppet master very, very nicely in the background. Why they leave you out here to be embarrassed, and they leave you out here to pick up the slack and pick up the shame. And your career just crumbles to a motherfucking plummeting end, and everybody run away and ride off into the sunset with your money. And now you have to do a biopic on Lifetime. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but you got to do a biopic on Lifetime and sell the little bit of your likeness that you own because XYZ, the aftermath of it, they went to court with the manager who said, no, I gave them what they deserve. You got to pay attention, or what they was owed. Not I paid them fairly, not I paid them whatever. I paid them what they was owed. That's not the same as you got what you deserve. You got whatever. It's all type. We're going to have to do an episode on the predatory languages of contracts, but everybody should pay attention and watch TLC and study their career, because it could be you. It could be anybody. It could be you at the car dealership, you at the bank trying to get a mortgage. It could be anything. Ain't no friends, bro. There's no friends. There's nobody to trust. Fuck all of that. Fuck that shit. This is the Dark Side of Songwriting. There's a Dark Side of Songwriting channel. There's a Paranormal Pentivity channel where we're going to be doing more of these, a little bit more HD. We're working on the new Dark Side of Songwriting trailer for 2023. My name is Nayim Edwards. Thank everybody for being here. If you made it this far, I appreciate you. Thank y'all for riding. My name is Nayim Edwards. I think I said that already, but I will holler at you.